Good morning, Pride of Yeshua, or good afternoon. It's your brother Johnson with another message titled Walking by Faith, Not by Sight. The foundation of this message takes place in Matthew chapter 14, verses 22 to 33. The story starts out with Jesus immediately telling the disciples to get on a boat and go. He wanted them to reach the other side of where they were at, and he was not going to be on the boat with them. We as Christians are being ordered by Jesus Christ to go on a boat and go also. We as Christians have a mission, the decree basically saying that we're to fulfill the Great Commission, going out into the world and spreading the message of God, and it's spreading out the gospel, the good news, to the people that have not heard it. This also places us in the same position as disciples, that we too have a mission that we must accomplish, and we too have to adhere to what Jesus Christ is asking us to do. Now, the disciples do get on this boat, and they do find themselves in a predicament. John chapter 6 verse 18 goes in depth, and I'll put that on the screen, where it talks about how it became dark, how the sea began to fight against them, and how when they actually saw Jesus Christ, they were frightened. This could also spiritually represent our lives as Christians. When it became dark, it's no different than we being sent out by Christ and being told, hey, Jesus and God, and with all our faith within us, we're to journey out and venture out. But at the same time, we're on this route, we don't feel the presence of Jesus Christ. So sometimes we begin to grow the seeds of doubt. But we as Christians got to remember, Jesus Christ will never leave us nor forsake us. He will never abandon us, no matter what situation that we are in. I want you guys to understand the sea if you look at the representation of the sea, I want you to see the sea as your life, how it's unpredictable, how anything can be thrown at you, and how today it's calm but tomorrow it's roaring. And I want you to also understand that Christ has put you on this so that you could remain faithful. A lot of the experiences that we must experience, it's a test to see when you're in these tough situations, when you're in these tumultuous times, and when you're in these bad environments. Are you going to hold steadfast? Are you going to allow your faith to grow with Christ? And are you going to remain there and follow Christ's order to the end, even though it may look like you're going to lose your life? And lastly, my brothers and sisters, Christ did come out to the water to meet them, not on a boat, but he was walking on water. This started to frighten the disciples. This could also be a lesson to us. When you lose faith and you start to doubt, you cannot make out Christ within your situation. You cannot understand nor pick out. Your lack of faith also makes you not able to recognize Jesus Christ in the midst of your situation. Man, you got to understand, faith is a combination of three things: belief, trust, and obedience. And when you lack any of those, it will affect you recognizing Christ within your situation, especially if hell's breaking loose all around you. True peace is being able to reside and stand firm in a situation where hell's breaking out all around you. No matter what the situation is, don't matter what the world looks like, don't matter what people think about you, you still hold steadfast to Jesus Christ no matter the situation. This now brings us to the second part of the story, where Peter starts to recognize Jesus Christ on the other side. His faith was weak, but it was strong enough for him to recognize that it's Jesus Christ, and for him to ask the question, Jesus, order me, Lord, if it's you, tell me to come out on the water with you. You know what I mean? Is what he was basically telling Jesus. And Jesus says, come to me. Peter did get down, and Peter did begin to walk. But you have to understand the moral of the story. His eyes were on Jesus Christ. His faith was only growing every step he got. It didn't matter what the winds were doing. It didn't matter what the waters were doing. It didn't matter about the storms around him. He was able to take authority of his life because his connection with Jesus was much more stronger than what was going around him. He was not intimidated in that moment. In this same circumstance, in verse 30, Peter began to doubt. Oftentimes, man, Jesus Christ is doing great things in our life, but we fail to look back and remember how he saved us, how he rescued us, how he blessed us, how he allowed us to have grace and experience it. We forget, and because we forget, we lose connection to our faith to Christ, and we begin to doubt. And like Peter, we end up falling, we end up drowning, and we end up, harboring anxiety, depression. We end up harboring no hope, because when you're drowning, you can't breathe. You're not comfortable. And again, This is the representation of what most of us Christians go through when we're on the path set by Christ. But Peter cried out, Lord, save me. And the verse states, immediately Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. You of little faith had said, why did you doubt me? Is what Jesus was asking Peter. Why did you doubt me? You were doing so well. But Jesus understands our limitations. Jesus understands our weakness. And that's why he'll save us and rescue us from the pit of our darkness. Brothers and sisters, don't walk by sight. Walk by faith. God will continuously bless you and work with you. The storms are coming. They're going to keep coming. Persecution is going to be coming. But if you have faith in Christ, nothing can stop you. He made you more than a conqueror. It's time for us to walk in his blessings. 2023 got to be a different year. Let's start 2023 right. God bless, and hopefully you guys get a blessing from this message.